Hello friends and welcome to my channel for another action figure review video. Today we're taking a look at the JMToys Dr. Cucumber, aka Rick from Rick and Morty. This is the box. It is not branded. This is an unlicensed figure. Literally nothing on this thing other than just Rick and Morty themed artwork. Here's the figure. Now, I gotta tell you, this thing is impressive. It comes with everything you see here, right? 10 different heads, a bunch of accessories, and also portal sticker thing. So it comes with this like pretty rigid plastic, and then you can stick these on there. The whole thing was 38 bucks. So that's probably the best value I've ever gotten out of a figure. You would spend more to get these soft goods to try to make your own Rick. And that doesn't include like the head and the body and everything. So really impressed by that. I got it from OneSixKit.com. They're a very reputable site. I have no affiliation with them. I'm just letting you know where I got mine. I'm excited to dig into this guy. So I'm going to get him out of the clamshell and we'll take a closer look. Now, I am a fan of the show. I'm a big fan of Dan Harmon's writing. I don't know what most of this stuff is, I'll be honest with you. So, I'm not going to be able to be like, oh, this is from episode blah, blah, blah. I've seen every episode, but my knowledge of the show is not encyclopedic. I recently got their Woody from Toy Story figure, and you can see that review on the channel. And generally, I have good things to say about that one. This appears to be the same body. I think that they both use a recast of the Mezco Gomez body. And I say that partially because of what the body looks like, but also because of the hands. These gloved hands are from the Gomez figure. Rick doesn't wear gloves on the show. I don't know why they would use these specifically, but whatever. Like, I can swap the hands out. It's not a big deal. But yeah, pretty good quality. The shirt's kind of got a stretchy vibe to it. The shoes are cool. The pants are riding a little high. I could probably pull those down. Similarly to the Woody figure, these ankles pop off quite easily. This is cool though. I've never seen anyone do this before. They have socks and they also have a white socket inside the shoe. So that just kind of helps it be a little more seamless. And I really dig that. Yeah, I mean, first impressions of the figure, this thing is pretty solid. I like the soft goods. No wire in the coat, but for $38, the fact that we got all this, like, I'm still very impressed. With the Woody figure, they used an existing head sculpt by Zhao 3D Modeler. I don't know who made this, or if this is like based on another Rick and Morty figure that exists from a different company and or in a different scale. I have no idea. If you're familiar with the show, you'll recognize like that face. I don't know what that's from. Some variant probably. The kind of drunk Rick. A bunch of different expressions, and they're all pretty well sculpted. The paint apps aren't great on all of them, like his teeth are pink here. It's cool though, there's like a little tongue in there. These are really fun, and I think with some touch-ups on my end, I can really make them sing. But all in all, like, I enjoy this quite a bit, and I don't think a figure like this needs to have pristine paint apps. It is based on a cartoon, and it was $38 shipped. So, and I had a few rewards points, so I paid like 35 something. So let's look at the accessories. You've got his portal gun, and this looks great. It's got the little trigger on the back there. Pretty nice paint apps on this number plate here, which I had never seen on the show, but I guess it's there. You got the lobster hands that probably go with this head sculpt. I assume that this was an episode that I just don't remember. You got a flask because Rick has a problem. There's also a bottle here, which is, these are pretty basic, but again, based on a cartoon. This little robot guy, I don't recall this from the show, but the plastic is soft, so I don't think these articulate, but you can move them around a little bit. I would be a little concerned about breaking some of this stuff off, but as a little prop, that's pretty cool. And then we've got the mother box. Again, I can't remember what this is from. There's like 100 episodes of that show, but it's nice. It's like a decent little sculpt. Pretty typical kind of like assembly line dry brushing on there. But again, for a figure based on an animated character, like, it doesn't need to be, amazing. I have no idea what this is, but it's fun. You're never going to get another figure with something like this probably. And then all the hands, again, not accurate, but you have this one, the kind of rock and roll hand, whatever that is. Another one of those. It's kind of a little action hand. 2 flipping the bird, 2 gripping hands, and 2 spray paint can hands. Now, the nice thing about this is that hands with fingerless gloves in 1/12 scale are kind of hard to find. So I can use these for something else and then swap the hands on Rick for plain ones that are more accurate. Oh, and he does have the 2 fisted hands that came on him as well. I'm gonna try a head swap here. That comes right off. And that pops right on. It's on there, but it doesn't take much to pull them off. So it's kind of nice. You know, you don't have to fight it. Sometimes that's a thing. If this one's anything like Woody, these hands, okay, well, that I was going to say these hands might be kind of hard to remove. They might be hard to remove from the wrist peg. The wrist peg popped out, obviously. Okay, so that's not bad at all. On Woody, I really had to heat him up. You know, the one thing about this, it doesn't really come with, I guess I don't know what a neutral head sculpt on Rick would be. I think maybe, I mean, this one maybe. This one is pretty neutral, I guess, but even then he's kind of got like a frown. So there isn't just like a straight normal one. I don't know. This one is like maybe he's beat up or tired. I can't really tell what they were going for with this one. I think maybe they forgot to paint the pupil. You know, again, the fact that it comes with 10 different heads, like, especially for this price point, is pretty wild. So articulation wise, double jointed elbows, shoulders get you up to there, bicep swivel goes all the way back. These are kind of creaky, squeaky figures, like the Woody was like that too. But that's just the plastic rubbing on plastic. I think you can heat it up and that won't happen. Forward to there. Head can not really look back without popping off. I mean, it looks like the range of motion is coming from the neck and not where the head attaches. It really is just kind of resting in there. Can look down pretty far. Good tilt, but again, that's coming from the neck itself. I guess, yeah, you can get, yeah, see, every time you push a little bit, it wants to come off, but it doesn't feel like it's coming off in like a real bad way. You know what I'm talking about? Like sometimes it's just like the head won't stop popping off. This will stay put as long as you don't overdo it, I guess. But again, you know, $38, I mean, that's like not much more than like a nice Marvel Legend figure at this point. Let's see, we've got very good ab crunch. Can look back super far too. Can tilt very far at the torso as well. It's got that diaphragm ball joint, and as well as a ball joint down at the waist. Can bend over. I mean, look at that. Like, it's pretty much as good as it gets, I would say. Legs come forward to there, back to there. The pants don't really hinder his doing the splits either very much. I mean, that's pretty impressive. You probably wouldn't really need Rick to do that, but the fact that it can do that is nice. Actually, yeah, you can go all the way with it. That's really impressive. Definitely gonna have double jointed knees. Go pretty far. And thigh swivel. You got a ball joint for the foot, so it can pretty much do anything. It may want to pop out kind of easily, but yeah, I love that they gave him socks too. Obviously very posable, and with the amount of head sculpts this guy comes with, like you can really get a lot of fun stuff out of him, I think. Pose that up real quick, and that was super fun already. So lots of different choices, lots of different variations, which is a lot of fun. I don't typically collect, you know, like kind of animated cartoony looking figures. I generally like stuff that looks realistic. But I do like that this is a more realistic interpretation of a cartoon character, so that's a lot of fun. Only thing that I wish about this guy is that he had kind of a smug looking face, because Rick is a very smug character, and I feel like, you know, you need one of him looking very self-satisfied. Now, it didn't come with one of those, and maybe they'll do an accessory pack at some point, which would be cool. But I did pick this up. The first time I'm fitting it on here. And yeah, it looks like it scales pretty well, thankfully. And I got this on eBay. I don't remember the seller's name. I'll try to put it down below. But clearly this is like a Willem Dafoe head with Rick's hair on it. But for my collection of, like, you know, realistic interpretations of cartoon characters, this is perfect. So I'm going to paint this up at some point and put this on here. Oh, you know, I just realized his neck is on backwards. So yeah, I don't know who sculpted this, unfortunately. I think this is one of those things that, like, people put out there as a file, and then a bunch of different sellers with 3D printers of their own can sell it. Looks like it still has some of the structural pieces. This is the same seller that I got my Snake Plissken head from, which I painted recently. But yeah, so I think this will be really fun to put on here, or at least have as an option. And I think it will work better with kind of being like cunning Rick instead of goofy or scared or whatever. All right, got a little setup going here just to wrap this up. And I really love this figure. This is super fun. Again, $38, like from OneSixKit. Again, not affiliated with them in any way, but you know, they're a reputable site. A lot of collectors use them. Hopefully they have more of these and you can get one because, you know, if you want it, because this is pretty great. The only real complaint I have is that the ankle joints are kind of loose. So he does want to fall over if, you know, you put him in certain poses. I have him on this turntable here, and if I were to rotate it, he would probably topple. So you may have to use a figure stand, or you could try kind of stuffing the socks into the socket a little bit so that they give a little bit more of a purchase. Fill it with a little bit of hot glue, something like that. But sometimes taking the foot off, adding some super glue into the hole, and then once it dries, putting the ball peg back in there will help, just because the extra layer of super glue helps to tighten it up a little bit. So you got options, but yeah, not a deal breaker for me. This figure's great. The soft goods are pretty good. I did use the portal sticker on that disc, and I actually got a couple air bubbles in there, but it honestly just kind of makes it look more three-dimensional. So I'm kind of stoked about that. That little thing is from the McFarlane 66 Batcave. I just put it there because it looks like something Rick might have, and I wanted to display his accessories on there. But yeah, really pleased with this figure. I hope they make a Morty. That would be so fun to have these two displayed together. And, you know, one of the things I do on the channel is I customize or build vehicles to go with these figures. And I think it'd be really fun to make Rick's spaceship at some point. So I might try to look into how I might make that happen. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Now, if you watch this channel, you probably know that I'm a professional comic book artist. It's my full-time job. One of my very dear friends, Tony Grigori, who's also a comic book artist, is drawing a bunch of the Rick and Morty stuff for Oni Press. His recent work has been the Youth in Rick Volt storyline. He's absolutely been killing it on that. So if you're a fan of comics, if you're a fan of Rick and Morty, definitely check those out. They're from Oni Press. They're available at your local comic shop and online, and they're super fun. And you know, he's a really creative guy who's just putting a lot of fun little sight gags and little things into the art. Speaking of comic book art, as I mentioned, I am a comic book artist. I invite you to stick around for the next minute or so for my closing bumper that talks about the different graphic novels that I have available and where you can get them. So that'll do it for this one. Stay tuned for that bumper, and until next time, keep your head on swivel. So that is going to do it for this video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I invite you to click the like button and hit subscribe and join me as I make cool stuff. Custom figures, dioramas, vehicles to go with the figures. I review new stuff that I get on the channel. If you're looking for other ways to support this, I've got t-shirts available. My Head on Swivel shirt, as well as several other action figure and comic book themed shirts are available in my Redbubble shop. If you've never used Redbubble, it's pretty great. You pick the color shirt, the style, and the design you want, and they ship it right to you. Now, if you're not a t-shirt person, but you like comics, I've got several comics and graphic novels available. Namely, my books High Crimes, Count, and Retroactive. High Crimes is kind of Breaking Bad meets Cliffhanger. Retroactive is like James Bond meets Groundhog Day, and Count is my sci-fi reimagining of the Count of Monte Cristo. Think kind of a, John Wick meets Batman meets Zorro. It's a cool story with swashbuckling action and sword fights and vehicle chases, and it's about redemption, revenge, and revolution. So those are all available at your local comic shop, bookstore, or at the links in the description below. So to everyone who's picked up a shirt already or one of my books, thank you so much. It means the absolute world to me. I really, really appreciate it. It really helps make it so that I can do this kind of stuff and bring you more videos. Couldn't ask for anything more, so thank you. So that is going to do it for this one. Until next time, keep your head on swivel.